Hello, hello, hello. All right, I think we are live waiting for people to jump on. Hello, hello. We're gonna kick it off here pretty soon. Anyway, let me turn this down. All right, this is actually going to be my first broadcast through this website that I believe most of you are logged in under. And so I'm doing a little training for myself as well. If everyone can hear me, could you leave a put a comment on the website? I'm going to check to make sure that you do hear me and that let me see, looking for the messages. So, yeah, if someone could please, if you're logged in there, let me see if I can. I'm still looking at the functionality while I'm learning some of the different buttons here. So I'll give it a shout here in just a second. But yeah, please shoot me over a message. All right. Still looking for any messages from anyone that's logged in right now. For some reason, if you've already sent a message over to me on the website, which is unstoppableFastStart.info/training, if you've already sent me a message and I haven't gotten that, feel free to shoot me a message over on Facebook as well. All right. Well, it's just after the top of the hour. I don't see any comments today. Um, I was going to switch it up a little bit on the format today. The reason being is a lot of questions that I've been receiving lately for the Fast Start training. A lot of it has to do with locating different information that uh, people aren't sure where to look for some of the different resources. So today, instead of jumping right into the domain mapping and the autoresponder, I did want to start off with some questions that you may have. Otherwise, what I was going to do is first even direct you to the recordings of the recordings of the previous Fast Start, where I go a little bit more into detail, but also where to navigate. And let me turn down my notifications there. All right, I'm going to I'll share my camera first so you can see me. And all right. And like I mentioned, since I am new to doing the Google Hangout, streaming them through a website, it's kind of exciting for me today because I'm both learning at the same time that I'm training. So very good day. So I'm probably going to be turning off my webcam here because I don't want it to slow down. First, let me see about sharing my screen. And give me just a second then. I'm still waiting for a few more people to jump on. All right, so right now I'm going to be sharing my Chrome screen, which I'm going to be uh, navigating around some different tabs up on top. Let me see. I do have. Okay, I'm getting some messages on the Facebook here. So let me take a look at that. Just a minute here. So I do not believe that I am receiving the messages on the website. Let me refresh the page here. Okay. Well, first of all, if please let me know if you've wrote a comment here. You should be able to write a comment underneath the video screen here. I might have to work on the functionality a little bit, but let me take a quick look at some of the messages we've got. Let's see here. See Maya there. Oh. Okay. Comments are moderation. Okay. Okay. Thank. I'm sorry, Mia. Um, yes, I might have the website up to where I have to approve the comments, so that could be an adjustment that I have to make. So that is good to know. All right. So I guess to start then, let's go ahead, and if you do have any questions, go ahead and post those in the Facebook. Um, it's Todd Swan. Once again, if you're having trouble find that, because I do not believe it is keeping up to date. All right, so let me go back and see if I can answer a few of these questions. I'll get back to those. So thank you, and then just said ready and waiting. Okay, yeah, I'm not getting those. All right, thank you, and thank you for all that. Okay, well, I'm gonna go in first and show a little bit on the Unstoppable Team Facebook page. For those of you that were not aware, we do have a file section right here at the top, which is underneath the banner. And when you click on the Files section there, you're going to see a lot of different information. For one is the Fast Start training, the setups. I have these on YouTube, and this is going to be recorded as well if you want to go back and review any questions that we may have. I do go into a little bit more detail. The last couple ones are very good. I believe the last one we cut a little bit short because we were pressed on time for waiting for another webinar. So, but go through some of these, and I really walk through the details, which, like I mentioned, I can get through, but I did want to show you some of the navigation. So, in addition to some of the different training, definitely familiarize yourself with some of the resources on this page. Brian, which for those of you that don't know, Brian Swan is my brother. And he does a new member orientation call, and you know, he'll go through a lot on the mindset and really where to focus on. And so to touch on that just a little bit, a conversation that I have with a lot of people just getting started is you really want to focus on building a firm foundation to start with. When I mention a firm foundation is what I kind of teach on the training is to get the blog set up with Empower Network, linking that to a domain name. You know, make sure that it's very personalized on the technical end, and then also set up an autoresponder so you can communicate with your list and be able to promote the products effectively. So that's really the foundational part. Then when you get into some of the marketing and the mindset for that is everybody has a little bit different approach. I'm going to show you some resources now for some different places that you can search for that. But also definitely check out some of the new member orientation recordings. It's you know, goes into a little bit of the mindset and really focuses in on where you should be concentrating most of your energy getting started. Okay, so that's one for example. So once again, that's in the Unstoppable Team Facebook page under the Files section. All right, and then if I believe most of you have been on the website, the unstoppable-tribe.com. Now, this is in the works of being revamped, but until the new Freedompreneur system rolls out, this is another great resource where we do outline and have some different videos. In fact, let me go ahead and share with you just well, before I get into the videos, actually, for those of you that have been under this website, if you've already registered your name and email, it is important to do this because that actually registering here will add you to our email list for just the team members. And a lot of times, just like today for this call, you may have if you've received an email, then you're probably already registered here because this is where the people that put their emails in here, those are the people that received the email that I sent out just about an hour before starting. If you are coming into returning members here, since you are registered, use the password Unstoppable, and that will take you to the main page. The welcome goes through some of the different previous recordings. Some of those are you can also find in the file section of the Facebook group, but we do kind of have it outlined out here for our Facebook group, new member orientation, which is right now scheduled for next Thursday at, I believe it is 7 p.m. Eastern time with Brian. So you can also do the registration, the tribe hangouts. We have the link here. Whenever you see the links here, for example, where you see $ID equals. Now with these, that's those are different promotion links. And instead of the Unstoppable Family, that's just basically your Empower Network username. And when we are doing different links that you can promote to people outside uh, for possible prospects, leads, and new members, just make sure that you always put in your username after the ID equal sign, and that will direct them back to your username and your account in the Empower Network. So anyway, after you go through all of these, we also have some of the other sections here for new member, some of the tribe calls. Let me back up for just a second. There's a very good one here of Dave Wood, for instance, that you can check out. Um, oh, and if you have not gone through this video has been posted on quite a few different platforms, capture pages. You may have seen this. It's how to create your perfect day. This is a video that my brother Brian and Jabril put together. uh, I I believe it was about 7 or 8 years ago, and it's an exercise to really figure out what your motivation is. And I would just highly suggest when you do watch this, if you haven't done so already, take your time, write down all your answers. I always like to put them on a Word document and save them into files. That way you can always kind of go back and revert to it later. But this is a very good exercise, and they do have a downloadable PDF here, so you can follow along. So, okay, so that's the unstoppable-tribe.com. Okay, I'm just going to close some of these windows out. And let me take a look here. I believe that, let's see a look, and Mia. Okay, are there any other questions that anyone has right now? Anything? Like I said, I am looking for it in my Facebook group. All right. All right. Well, let me jump into a little bit about just going right into the Empower Network account then. Okay, when you're first logged into your Empower Network account, to work with the blog, um, the actual blog is already set up. But what we need to do is we need to change some of the direction to direct it to a domain name so you can promote that and make that link personalized. But for instance, when you are looking at the first page when you log in here, you're going to see a series of buttons up here, and these are actually to-do posts. Um, I typically, for my first little tidbit of information, is I typically use the text because you can always use this button here to add in different media sources. So a lot of these tutorials that you can find for actually writing your first blog post and that can be found underneath the support section, which is right here. So we won't go into too much detail on that. A lot of that's self-explanatory, and they do have some different tutorials that are very short and concise. So first, we're just going to jump right into the blog. So you click on My Blog. Okay. Let me just check my screen here real quick. All right. All right. I just turned my camera off there. Hopefully That will maybe speed up any delays we've had. So when you're logging into your Empower Network account, we're under My Blog, and you click the little plus sign here, and that's going to give you the series of options for the blog. All right. When you first are registered with the Empower Network, you'll only see that it has the first one up here, My Empower Network blog. And you can have as many blogs as you want and link those to individual domain names. When I mention domain names, that's just would be like your www. For instance, the unstoppablefamily.com. The one that I'm operating and broadcasting on the website, unstoppablefaststart.com. You can create specific ones for your blog and direct your Empower Network blog to those domain names. And you do that just by clicking Add a Blog. You can put in your user-friendly blog name. So, for instance, Unstoppable Fast Start. And it will pre-fill in a subdomain. So play around with that a little bit. We're not going to go into that today, but I'm going to be using a blog I created for training purposes, which is the Flowing Factor, and I'm going to be linking the flowingfactor.com to my Empower Network blog here. All right, so the functionality is the same. I'm just going to scroll down and get the navigation bar up here. When you are playing around with some of the different functionality, you can always change the different colors, put them into different color schemes. You may even want to create a separate blog just for testing purposes. And that way you don't have to worry about the blog that you're using and people might be seeing to use that. So on that, then, okay, so on the navigation, just play around with those functions. Something also to be aware of is you can turn on or off your Empower branding. So if you do not want the Empower Network branding promoted on there, you can turn that off on that section here. Turn it on. So once again, play with that functionality a little bit. SEO, further data. A lot of that is already input, but what we're going to focus on then is go to the custom domain. Now I already had this previous setup, so you can easily unlink your domain name from the Empower Network account in case you wanted to use it for a different blogging platform, or if you've gone through the tutorials and you may have made a mistake and your domain mapping isn't working properly, one of the suggestions I have is go ahead and remove it and go through the process again. A lot of times if it's not, if you go through the process and it's not linked properly, it's very typically a typo. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this, just so we're on the same page, literally. All right, so for the domain name that I'm going to be using, and you want to put in the www here, just like in the example here, www.flowingfactor.com. Okay. It should say available here. Make sure that it does say available. No one should be using that domain name for their Empower Network account if it is your specific domain. All right. And when you hit next, then it's going to take you to the instruction page here. It even mentions up here that we're going to be adjusting the CNAME record in the DNS file. Okay. The two values we're going to be looking at is the CNAME name and the CNAME value. All right, let me broaden my screen up a little bit here. All right, so I like to toggle between a couple different screens. Once again, as I mentioned, the typos, I do a lot of cutting and pasting just to minimize the chance of having something not functional just because of a typo. So uh, when you are, let me go ahead and get logged into my GoDaddy. Now GoDaddy is where I purchase my domain name. You may have gone through a different service to purchase your domain names. The terminology should be very similar. So first click on, let me get logged in. Okay. All right, let me just check real quick, make sure I didn't have any other messages. All right. During this, if you can't hear me or having any problems, once again, just shoot me a Facebook message. All right. Don't see anything right now, so. All right, so going into when you're logged in and you have your list of domains, the one that I'm going to be using for illustration is flowingfactor.com. Okay, when you're first logged in, and in GoDaddy specific, there are a few different tabs here. We have our settings tab here. There's a separate tab for DNS zone file, and then one for contacts. Okay, we're not going to worry about the contact information today. We're going to be going into the DNS zone file first. So just look for the DNS zone file, and you're going to scroll down to where you see CNAME. And the CNAME, as mentioned, I'm going to flip back to the Empower Network account. And it says it right up here, CNAME in the DNS. So once again, we know we're in the right place. It's under the section CNAME for the alias. And we're going to go down to typically at the bottom here where it has a www. And this is where we're actually going to redirect it to point towards your Empower Network blog. Okay, so this is the first step. There's two steps. Okay, so for the first step here, just go through and edit the record. It has the www. I always like to change the first value from your Empower Network account just to make sure it is directed to your www domain name. So when you're in the Empower Network, just do a quick copy. Go back into your GoDaddy account. Paste that value in. And then points to. So this is where we're directing it to actually point to your blog in Empower Network. Okay, so this value here, if I already had this one linked, but what it will typically have is the @ symbol. So even on the previous page at the very bottom, the www, you'll see that @ symbol. Okay, this is the one we're going to change with that second value in your Empower Network account. So we're going to just take this value here. We're going to copy this. And keep in mind, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and highlight the whole thing. There is a period at the very end of the CNAME value here, which is not necessary for most platforms, including GoDaddy. So if you do copy that period at the end, let me just redo this. You go into your GoDaddy account. We're going to replace that @ symbol with the value here, and I'm just going to take that period off at the end. It's not needed, and GoDaddy doesn't like it. All right. All right, so now we got the two values here. Keep the TTL, just keep that as whatever it's defaulted to. And then, of course, after you do that, make sure that we save the changes. Okay, and just a quick heads up, after you save it, if you're going back to check and you look down here where it's defaulted back to www and you don't see the full name, that's fine. Don't worry about it. As long as you do see that you do have the value saved here for your Empower Network account. All right. So now we're going to scroll back up. Remember, we changed the tab and we were working in the DNS zone file. We're going to go back for the second part into the settings. Okay, this is where we're going to change the forwarding. Okay, let me go back into the Empower Network account. And once again, that first value is just your domain name with the www. So since we already have that input there, I'm just going to copy that value and go back into the GoDaddy and go to forwarding. Now, I didn't remove this previous to the call, but it will, I believe, have no forwarding set up or very similar, and you can click the button to actually set up the forwarding. Since I have that, I'm going to click Manage. And instead of Update, you'll probably have Create button. And that will take you to the screen here where we're going to put in the www. Just leave the HTTP as is. It will give you a couple selections. You don't need the HTTPS. That's for secure site. So you just basically punch in your www. You can type it in or cut and paste. The redirect type is just leave that as permanent. For the forward settings, make sure that you leave this as forward only. Okay, you're going to have the option of forward with masking. That's not needed because we've already have it directed and pointed to your Empower Network blog because we changed that in the previously in the DNS zone file under the CNAME. So just do the forward only. And if it gives you the option then to save, go ahead and click Save and save again. And then what you should have here, and this is very important, when you do have the forwarding here, just make sure that it has a www and your domain name. Okay, the most typical mistake I see when people are mapping over their domain name is they're having this forwarded to the name with the to the Empower Network blog. Okay, you don't need to do that. In fact, when you go to promote, you do not want to have the especially in Facebook, you don't want to have that the Empower Network in there. The reason being is, I'll give you a short explanation, but basically, not only do you want to personalize your blog and make it marketable on that end, you also, just because with Make Money From Home, the business for working online, it just categorizes it into something that Facebook blocks as spam. Pretty much anything that you're promoting to make money from home falls under that category. So just be aware before you try to promote any of the Empower Network products, make sure that you use your own custom domain and have this linked properly. All right, so now that's pretty much all you need to do to map your domain. When you go back into your Empower Network account, we're going to hit the Verify Custom Domain. Okay, it should say Domain Verified. If it does not say Domain Verified, chances are there was something input incorrectly or a typo, some very minor mistake. If you think you made a mistake, once again, you can always remove the domain name and go through this process again, just like I did from the very beginning. Now, the verify domain does not mean that it's that it's already linked. It can take, typically it takes about 10, 15 minutes. It does say here about 30 minutes for those changes to take place. It could take longer. Typically, give it at least an hour if you're having problems. We're going to check the domain name here in just a little bit, but just keep in mind that it does have domain verified, and it even does say go make some lunch here in step 3 because it could take a little bit. So you don't want to panic if it's not immediately after you make the change. All right, so we're just going to leave this screen open for the Empower Network. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to walk through where you actually will change the information to link it to your autoresponder. So just to show you where that's at right now, you go under My Account, scroll down here, and at the very bottom here, you're going to see Promotion Funnels. Okay, you're going to use this tab for a couple different reasons. Okay. When you hit the Promotions funnel, this actually has the different Empower Network links that you can use to promote the Empower Network products. Once again, do not use these links directly into Facebook because they will flag it and it could actually suspend your account and mark your account as spam. So do not use these links directly. When you get into the some of the other marketing, we'll have that. There's different videos, tutorials, and instructions that will have those the other options available to you. Definitely get together with your sponsor on some of those. But going back to the other reason that you will use the promotions funnel link is when you scroll down here, this is where you're actually going to be linking your autoresponder into your Empower Network account. Now, the autoresponder is basically, it's a way that you can have send out emails to your entire list in bulk. When people subscribe to your list, and we're going to walk through that functionality here in a minute, there'll already be a series of emails that they may automatically receive, in addition to you sending daily broadcasts, which is recommended. So, first of all, if you haven't set up, oh, by the way, I'm sorry, I just switched the screen from the Empower Network account. I went into the Aweber. Now, Aweber is what I use for the autoresponder. And this is what Brian and Rhonda use, and a good majority. There are other options, but if you're going to be linking it to your Empower Network account, let me flip back into the Empower Network screen. Just keep in mind that if you look here, you got basically two options. You have link get response and your Aweber. So we prefer Aweber. So that's what I'm using for illustration purposes. All right, so when you're in Aweber, if you don't have a list, it's very easy to create. You go into Create, Manage List. When you first create a list, I'm going to just open the screen up real quick. It's going to give you a lot of the basic information to fill out. So when you're going through Aweber, initially it's going to walk you through step by step. Okay. If you don't worry, if you have to make changes after the fact, you can always make any changes after you go through that initial setup process, and you do that just by navigating as I show here. Let me just get to the home screen to show you real quick. Okay, from the home screen, if you've just created a list, you may only have the one up here. Uh, as I've kind of stated before, it's always kind of nice to maybe create a test account that you can experiment with without affecting anything that may affect any communications that you have going out to your list. The one I'm using for illustration purposes is my PowerFlow Test 2. So always make sure you're on the right list when you're making any changes, of course. And just go to the very right-hand side for list options. And you go down to list settings. Okay? All right. So this was the screen we were just on. You have your basic settings. You have your personalize your list and confirmed opt-in. We're going to touch base on all three of these real quick here. You can always put in the personalized information. First off, very, very important. When you have your list name in Aweber, and we're going to be linking that to the Empower Network account, you can create any list name you want. This is actually an older one, which maybe I should create a different one for illustration purposes. This one actually is the same as my list name. There was some changes made back in beginning in May, where they automatically give you a unique list ID now, which is typically AW list and then 563275, something like that. Just create a list name so you can remember, which one you're using for your Empower Network account. But the Empower List ID, and we're going to go back, and I'm going to show you this after we walk through the Aweber. But right here, the unique list ID, this is what you're going to be using when we link it. So, okay, some of the functionality, just to let you know, they do have from your emails. Of course, it wants to have how your name is going to be displayed when people receive emails. The address here, when you highlight that, if you notice, it will say, please avoid free email addresses like Gmail or Hotmail. It will still work if you're using a Gmail account or Hotmail account, Yahoo account, or any of those. They don't suggest it. There's a few different factors that might affect the delivery rate, but don't worry about it at this point. I would recommend, having an alternate email address that's not a free account. Usually you can have one linked to your domain name. If not for free, it's pretty cheap. What I do is I just have all my emails. I have this go out on my broadcast, which is todd@flowingforward.com, but I have all those just directed into my Gmail account. So I'm still using my Gmail as my primary email. And then, of course, to receive any notifications, definitely nice to have when you're first getting started, so when people are subscribing. Always change save any settings before you go to any other screen. We're going to go into now personalize your list. And this may look familiar if you've already walked through the process of setting up the account. Of course, company name, your website domain, which we just got done linking. So you could use that domain name here. This is my primary one, flowingforward.com. Signature, I go ahead and put my name with my with my email and my website underneath. You can play around with to see how it's going to deliver in your emails. Okay, social media. I wouldn't worry about doing anything to link them together. In fact, I would suggest not to link those and use that, just because with like Facebook and Twitter, I like to always treat it as as a different platform, because you may want to fine tune it between your what you're sending your engaged list the people that are engaged with your list, you may want a slightly different message than you're just sending out to the world. So enough said on that. All right. Global text snippets. Okay, this is going to be where I get where some of the information might be a little confusing. Um, when we're talking about a campaign is a list of emails that you can add to your account from the Empower Network, so you can get a jump start, and anyone that's subscribed to your list will automatically start receiving emails, even if you don't send out a daily broadcast to your list. Okay, that will make more sense in just a minute here. So, but just keep in mind that we will come back to this part here, global text snippets, if you are using Campaign. If you're not using Campaign, don't worry about this. But like the Empower Network here, anything that might be here, you'll want to make it personalized with your username, your name, anything that you need to make it personalized. So going back in, the next thing would be the confirmed opt-in section here. All right, when you are setting up your list, Aweber does somewhat discourage, or will give you kind of a pop-up warning to receive confirmation messages when people subscribe to your list. Okay, now it will default to required opt-in web form. It's going to default to being off. Being on. Now we're going to change that and turn that off. The reason being is when someone goes and signs up for your list, they'll send out a confirmation email to make sure that that person really wants to subscribe to your list. Now, that's great in theory, but in practice, what happens a lot of the time, those emails get sent to a different folder if they have any kind of email filter on their account like Gmail. A lot of times that will go into a social or promotions folder, and people won't see it. They won't click on the button. They won't be added to your list. So enough on that. We're going to turn it off. It's going to ask you to confirm that. Make sure you want to. Just turn it off. And I have had the questions before. People ask, well, isn't it required to have a notification for people that want to unsubscribe? Yes. When you send out any email through Aweber, they are always going to have an unsubscribe button at the bottom of the email. So if that person wants to unsubscribe at any time, all they have to do is click on that. So, all right. You can put in your success page here. Typically, I would just maybe put it going back to the website. So if you have, for mine, for instance, flowingforward.com, you can just have them go back to the original page. Okay, I'm just going to save the settings. Okay, so once again, when we do have that list set up, you can always go under list options, list settings. Now we're going to link this to your Empower Network account. So take a look for unique list ID, not the list name, the unique list ID. You copy that. Okay. Going back into your Empower Network account, and then use that unique list ID here. Okay. This is actually live right now, so I'm not going to make that change. But once again, using the Aweber, the list name will be, it just says list name. They haven't changed the wording here in Empower Network since Aweber changed their format, but it's actually the Aweber unique list ID. That's what you want here, the list ID. So that's where you put those and then submit to change, and that should be rocking and rolling. All right, so we've given it enough time right now. So let's check to see if we linked that website correctly to the Empower Network. So I'm just going to type in here flowingfactor.com. Give it just a minute. Okay, so yep, everything looks good. So at the top here, you notice I just typed in flowingfactor.com. It did come up with the www. It is linked to my Empower Network blog. You can always go back into your Empower Network account and scroll over, go into my blog. Once again, that's hover underneath your username and my blog. And the blog that I've used is the Flowing Factor. And you notice it's the same. So any changes I make here is going to be live on flowingfactor.com. So, for instance, one thing that I want to point out real quick, I'm actually logged into my Empower Network account. Let me just make a quick change here. I'm going to turn the Empower branding off. Let's maybe say I'm selling t-shirts and I don't want the Empower Network name at the top. All right, let me turn that off. Save changes. Go back into my domain name, flowingfactor.com. Let me refresh the page. And bam. Okay. So you notice now that we don't have the Empower Network here. You still do have the Empower little icon up here, but it doesn't say Empower Network. All right. So basically, now what you can do is if anytime that, pardon me, that these banners and that are set up that have pre-filled links into them. So let's say I click on that. If you notice up here, okay, it's taking me to a capture page to capture my email. Okay, so when you do put your email in there, that will automatically be added into your Aweber list. Okay, I've already registered. It may put me at the top. Let me try it real quick. Okay. Okay. Let me just close out of that for right now. And in Aweber, you can always check it yourself by going into subscribers. Oh, actually, this is my test link. But here's another one. Okay, so I see that I've already registered here. So if you're testing it yourself, just go underneath your list name, hit subscriber, and if you have it all linked correctly, it should have your add your email down here to the subscriber list. All right, I know we're coming up at the top of the hour, and let me show you one last thing, and then we'll just kind of open it up once again. If you let me check, see if I have. I don't think I have any other messages right now. Mia Ann, okay. All right, if you have any questions, just once again post those on Facebook. I'll try to get that little quirk worked out on my website. I just put that together a few days ago. So, all right. So once again, we have that linked, but when you are first getting started, you may not have a series of emails, or you may be just stuck on sending out an email every day to your list that you want them to receive. All right, we got a solution to that. I call it a temporary solution, because once you really start engaging with your list, you'll want to make a lot of these emails personalized. But let me show you real quick on where to find a campaign to really get you launched from the beginning. Okay. In the prosperity team, and I did include in the email where you can register for the prosperity team. It's the same as your Empower Network username. It's just prosperityteam.com/welcome, I believe. That will allow you to register. So anyway, do that and kind of navigate around. There's some pretty cool stuff on here as well. You know, we are underneath the prosperity team umbrella. We just have the unstoppable team, the love and light team. We even have more further information that we can really dig into. But also check out the prosperity team. So you can go under the iPass Marketing Center. Let me use mine, PowerFlow. When you're logged in here, they have different iPass. They have different campaigns that are listed for different levels. If you're at the inner circle, you can check out some of them. If you're at the $25 level, for the viral blogging, that's fine. We're going to go directly into the basic one. This is a funnel that I'm going to put on my Aweber list. Go to sales funnels. At the top, Empower Network. That's a campaign that I'm going to share with people. And I'm going to set up the autoresponder. Okay. When you do, when you're going under here to the prosperity team, they use a few different autoresponders that can link to that. Aweber, GetResponse, and GVO. Once again, both Aweber and GetResponse, they have 30-day trial periods. I believe GVO does too. I use the Aweber. It's just the most universally accepted one. So that's an easy way of explaining it why we decided to use Aweber. So, but that's a preference. So whichever one that you're using, make sure you select the right one because we're going to load a campaign here. And these codes are unique to the different platform that you're using. For instance, if you're using GetResponse, the campaign code is going to be different than if you're using Aweber. Okay. And then you can put in your list name here and save the campaign. We're just going to copy this campaign code here. And this will make sense in just a minute exactly what this does. Copy this. All right, now we're going to go back into our Aweber account. All right, now make sure you're under the right list, the correct list name that you want to put this under. Okay. Yep. I am going to use my test account, so just so I can see what it looks like. Okay, I already have, if this is the first time you've gone into this, your follow-up series should be, will be blank. There won't be anything here. What it will have is a screen that says, do you want to create your first follow-up? And then it will say, are you looking for campaign sharing? Look for, click on the buttons that says campaign sharing. We're going to put in this campaign here. Okay, now before you hit load campaign, I would make sure that you are underneath the correct list name, because what's going to happen is just like it says here, that it will erase any follow-up messages in your list that are already defined. So if you already have some created, it's going to overwrite everything. So definitely make sure you're in the right list, and that's why I like to experiment with test counts. We're going to hit load campaign. And once you do this, it's going to come up with a whole series of emails where originally there was none. All right, now the one thing, let me scroll down again. probably making some people dizzy here. But anyway, it says also loading shared follow-ups or broadcasts will erase any custom fields or global fields defined for that account. All right, so that could create a problem. So when we were originally setting up the account, I'm going to scroll back up. Remember when we went into list options and went into list settings? Okay, we already put in all the basic information, but now we're going to go back into personalize your list. We're going to click on personalize, and we're going to scroll down to the bottom. And if you look at global text snippets, there's a problem here. All right, the emails are predefined with links in there that will allow sales to track back to your username in Empower Network. When I loaded that campaign again, it erased or it overwritten the field that I had here. Okay, if you remember before for Empower Network, my username is PowerFlow, and it changed that. This is a default. Okay, I need to make sure, or when you're doing this, make sure to edit. And I'm going to put in Power up. Make sure you spell it right. Okay, so now it is going to PowerFlow. We're going to save the settings. And that's really all you need to do after you customize your list. Everything else should stay the same. You can always check the confirmed opt-in, scroll down. Like I said, we have it turned off. All right, so now since we did that, let's go ahead and check it. Make sure it's correct once again. So in the messages, the follow-up series, okay, these were the ones that were added. We're going to send a test. All right, I'm going to use my Swan PowerFlow, and I would do this for each and every one. There may be some emails that I wouldn't change too much to begin with, but at least send yourself a test so you know what emails will be going out to your list when they subscribe. So just go through it, like I said. And by the way, you can also just do a Google search for Empower Network campaign codes, and there's a lot that you can find just from doing a Google search. But be very cautious. Like I said, the Prosperity team, they have these to get you going. So send a test. Ooh, I am not sharing my, I don't believe that you can see, I don't believe you can see my other screen. No, you can't. Okay, I have another window open for my Gmail account. I'm not sure how to change that, so let me do this. I'll log in real quick. Email was sent. Let me see if I can log into my other one real quick. I'm not sure if my passwords are remembered in this one. Okay, I already have my other account. Okay. Anyway, when you do send a test, any links that you have, click on them, and they should have your username at the very end. So, and those are typically, let me even just go back into the Empower Network account. And I'm going to go down to promotion funnels. Okay, so basically, a lot of those links you might click on will have like the empowernetwork.com, and then they're going to have the ID equals. Just make sure that those emails that are coming out has your username at the end. So that's kind of the navigation of how to link those together. And let me take a look then. So that's okay. So in a nutshell, that is everything should be set up in your Empower Network account. Let me just pull that up again. Under your flowing factor, where you have the links set up, they're linked to your Aweber account. Got some thunder action coming in here now. So it's linked to your Aweber and your domain name. So now you can use the regular domain name to promote. And another thing too, what they do have too is just to let you know, maybe play around with this. We do actually have what's called badassbutton.com create, and this will actually allow you to actually put some of your the URLs in that will actually create a custom link. So anyway, if you did want to kind of that's a little bit a little bit into the marketing aspect, so I don't want to go too much into more detail on that. To start with, the main thing is get into the daily postings, play around with the website, and work on the very foundation. Don't try to build the roof of your house before you lay the foundation. But I did want to bring that to your attention that we do have for different promotion links, we do also have this additional capability. All right, I'm going to take a quick look here and see if anyone has any questions. Give me just a minute here. On clear. Okay. All right. Well, I'm probably going to be wrapping it up here if there's not any other questions at this time. But before I do, let me just go through. I did have a few slides that I was just going to show that I already kind of walked through, explain about not promoting your Empower Network blog until you do get it mapped to your domain name. Okay, we did cover some of the summary of navigating into your Empower Network blogging platform, how to link that with your GoDaddy account, and we adjusted, once again, a two-step process, the CNAME and then the domain forwarding. Wow, if you can hear that thunder, it's really coming in. Might have to go inside here. All right. And for the autoresponder, we had that link to your Empower Network account, setting up the campaign, the to-dos and the not to-dos, once again, talking about like the confirmed opt-in, making everything personalized to yourself, and then just checking to make sure that those links are working properly. Now, I do have a personalized service if you do get to a point where you maybe just want some other little tidbits of information about actually creating your own broadcast on Aweber, linking it up. Once again, more of the foundational. I can definitely walk through, or if you have problems, I do have a personal service for the team members, and that includes both the Unstoppable team and the Love and Light team. For those of you that might be on either team, I do offer that at like a $25 charge, which is usually we can do an individual webinar hangout, and we can make it very personalized to you, and I can get you recording something you can always go back to that's particular to yourself. So you can always contact me. Let me go back for a second. You can email me at todd@unstoppablefamily.com. So if you are interested in that service, just shoot me an email or shoot me a Facebook message. Either way will work. And then, of course, as we kind of went through a few of these things, I did point out that the badass button, the prosperity team, just if anything, register to check it out. Of course, you know, most of the resources we do have within our tribe, the Unstoppable team and the Love and Light team. So we have a lot of those resources available to you as well. But the prosperity team, they have some like different campaigns and different functionality to check out. So, and then also as we went through the unstoppable-tribe.com. So that's a very good beginning to really get you going if you're wondering where the information is. Let me scroll back into, oh, I'm sorry, you know, for that, oh, for my slides, I'm sorry, you probably couldn't see those because those were in a different screen that I didn't have active. So my apologize there. Just kind of summarizing there, let me go into the Facebook group too. Definitely remember the files section there. A lot of great information, including the past recording. So, all right. And, oh, I did want to also mention, let's go into the Empower Network account real quick. Go into the home page that most of you should be aware of already, that the event tickets are for sale. Where you find that is when you're looking at the left-hand side, there's going to be a section here for event tickets. You click on that. In fact, I'm going to play a couple minutes of this. All right. Oh. Okay, so you get the idea there. The events, um, if there's any way possible for you to attend, you really do make great connections there. You're going to connect with people that are maybe at the level that you're striving for. And in fact, I'm right now having got the rest of my belongings out of my storage unit so I can kind of lighten my load and try to raise some funds to make it down there. So yeah, definitely look at some options there, but it is life changing. If you look at, if you haven't seen this video as well, the Unstoppable Mastermind, this is a great video that I'm sure most people have seen. And this is one from New Orleans that we went to, and definitely check those out. There's the event tickets are on sale. If you are all in, you can get a hold of Rhonda. We do have one mastermind that's for the all-in, which they can go through some details on that. So just be aware that the event is coming up. The tickets are for sale. The prices actually did go up. I believe they are now 147 or 197. It just said on that screen. So anyway, grab those if you haven't done so already. Let me take one more look for any questions that that anyone has. All right. Well, we are getting a storm here. Let me share my screen here for a second. So anyway, we have a storm rolling in, but anyway, I will be ending the call here. And once, oh, wait a minute, maybe one question here so far. Got in the second half. Okay, we do have a question. Yeah, yes. If you are watching this from the unstoppableFastStart.info/training. This post should be live with the recording immediately after it ends. It just takes a little bit of time for it to save into the YouTube account. So yeah, definitely just save this page. You can come back to it, and I'll work on some of that functionality about the comments. So thank you for the feedback on that. But on that note, I will be wrapping it up. And you're welcome, yeah. All right. Sounds good. And make it a great day. And we will talk to you soon. Cheers.